we already have covered mental placement, which is the first stage. In other words, you gear all your senses back into your mind. Our eyes, our ears, our nose, our tongue, our body, all gear outward. Now we're going to put all these things inward. So the most important is the object of attention, because our object of attention, when we were in the mundane world, when we walk out and interact with people, our objects of attention are multiplicity, various, numerous, uncountable. We see this, we see that, we hear this, and we hear that. So objects of attention, when we are not meditating, they are so various, so numerous, so immeasurable, boundless, that we're being led away by them. We go with them. Remember, when we have 8 consciousnesses inside of us, we have 8 consciousness, and of course we have the consciousness, the superficial consciousness, we call them the salesmen at the door, the eyes, the ear, the eye consciousness, the nose consciousness, the ear consciousness, the taste consciousness, and all from the 6 senses. And when these consciousnesses come out, they interact with the mental characteristics when we interact with objects of attention. So there's 51 mental characteristics other than all these other objects of attention. Right now I'm looking at you, I'm looking at the lamp, the lights. These are all my objects of attention. I used to be led by them. Whenever my consciousness comes out, particular consciousness, eye, ear, nose, and all these comes out, each consciousness and all consciousnesses interact with also 51 mentality characteristics. What are these? Give you an example. Jealousy is one. Hatred is one. So when I see something, I feel jealous about it. I want to be greedy of it. I want to possess it. I create jealousy because my friend has it and I don't have it. So at the same time, when I see these things, the jealousy, the mentality characteristics of jealousy comes up. So in the interaction, eyes interact with object of attention. At the same time, inside of me, there is 51 mental characteristics simultaneously comes out. And of course, that's when we studied Vajrayana, the school of Vajrayana, which is another philosophy expounded by the Buddha, Vajrayana, or we translate in the common English, the psychology of the Buddhist teaching. There's a separate branch which contains profound philosophy, which contains hundreds of volumes of literature in it. But right now, we're talking about meditation, so we just summarize them. So there's 51 mentality characteristics at the same time simultaneously produced when your sense organs interact with all objects of attention. That you know. Of course, there's mental characteristics. Jealousy is one, hatred is one, arrogance is another one. 51 of them? Oh, many of them. For example, depression is one, or manic depressive stage of the mentality. Inferiority complex is one, superiority complex is one. What else? Fear, disappointment. You name them. They simultaneously, it comes out when you interact with outside objects. And of course, these mental characteristics, not only the bad ones, there's 11 good ones, 26 bad ones, 11 good ones. So when you compare to them, How many are the bad ones? How many are the good ones? The evil ones, 26 of them. Of course, I just mentioned them. Jealousy, hatred, fear, disappointment, all these things, we name them. And there's also the good ones. What are the good ones? One of them, shame, remorsefulness. Because you feel that, oh, I've done something wrong. You feel shameful about it. You want to change it. And that's the good mental characteristics. Being compassionate is another one. Unselfishness is another one. Kindness is another one. So there's so many of them. But in the future, if you go into Vijnanavada, Vijnanavada, if you look at check with the Google or internet or whatnot, try to find out Vijnanavada school of the Buddhist teaching, or the study of consciousness. You'll find a lot about them. I'm not going to elaborate on these now. So, in our daily interactions, these are the objects of our attention. We're being led away by them. We're attached to them. Egoistic feelings comes out because of them. Because of all these mental afflictions, we behave accordingly. We talk accordingly. We think accordingly. And all these is pollutions of the mind. That's why we commit karma. That's why we commit misdeeds. And sometimes you could have committed compassionate acts. So, we're being led away by objects of attention all the time. Now the Buddha said in your mental training, put it inside. Don't be distracted. Place your mind internally. Don't go outside to look for anything. Don't be led away by outside objects. You create your own object of attention. You simplify all these objects by just one, and what we are using. What is your object of attention? You know? Do you have an object of attention? Yeah, Ali is pointing to his nostril right here. With the in and out breath, that's our object of attention. What is your object of attention? To some people, I like to meditate on a flame. I used to put a candle in front of me, a candle on a pot of water, and then I meditate accordingly. That's fine. That's your object of attention. And my object of attention is not that. My object of attention is at my belly button. That's my ocean of breath. Oh yeah, that's good. That's the object of attention. But if you don't have one object of attention, then what are you doing? You're not meditating. You've got to have an object of attention. Why? Because your senses are so used to object of attention. You want to train your senses, to pull your senses inward, you got to simplify that. You got to give it a home. You got to give your senses a home. Somebody told me to check with YouTube. And then he said, there's a homeless man. And what is this homeless man to me is there's no home. He's wandering around, wild around. But now you're not homeless. You create this home for your senses. Because you're homeless, you don't have a home for them. They roam around. Now you're not roaming around your senses anymore. You create a home. You place your attention inward. So that's called mental placement. Can you remember that first step? Don't roam around. Come home. Come home to it. That's the first one. So we call it mental placement. Okay, the second one is we already have an object of attention now, and my object of attention is my breath, in and out breath. And the Buddha said the next step is to make sure that it's continuous. In other words, your object of attention, your first thought is, my thought is on my in-breath. I count 1, I count 2. When I breathe in, I count 1. When I breathe out, I don't count. When I breathe in the second time, I count 2. Breathe out, I don't count. Third time, I count 3 until I come to 10. And then I go back to 1 again. That's my object of attention. And now I have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 10. And then I count to 3. I lost it. I forgot about it. I thought about something else. That's not called continuous. It's not continuous from 1, 2, 3 up to 10. It's not continuous. You have interruption. You need to have that continuous attention. You need your attention span to be continuous. Magic comes when your attention, when your concentration is continuous. So the Buddha said it has to be continuous. The first thought must be the same as the second thought, must be the same as the third thought, must be the same as the fourth thought. That's continuous. And also, I don't know if you realize, the first thought must leave to make space for the second thought. I don't know if you know what I mean. What happened in your daily thinking? In my daily thinking, you may not realize you have flashes and flashes in fraction of a second of thought. Okay, I'm looking at this red thing. Oh, I turn my eyesight to a brown thing. So my thought of seeing red thing has to leave to make room for my second thought of seeing a brown thing. But we don't realize it. We thought that, oh, this is my thought. In other words, the first thought go for the second thought to take over. You may not realize it because it's so subtle, it's so fast. So in other words, thoughts after thought after thought after thought. You have to make it continuous. One moment I'm thinking of my mom, and the second moment I'm thinking of my brother. The thought of my mom goes away, the thought of my brother comes in. One moment I'm thinking of hatred, another moment I'm thinking of kindness. The hatred has to go away, the kindness has to come in. If you find that continuity, if you realize what is the Buddha's teaching? The Buddha's teaching is not about just getting blessings from Buddha. It's to analyze your thought. It's to know yourself. Completely know yourself. Do you know yourself? You should be entitled to know yourself because you yourself, the master of yourself. It's just you go astray that you committed all these karma. And the Buddha said, come home to it. So, first one is mental placement, and the second one is continuous placement. Can you do that continuous placement? And say, assuming that, yes, I can, I'm continuous. It goes away. No, stop, come back again. So your monkeying mind is just like, if you give it an example, you put your monkeying mind on a leash. The monkey has to stay, sit, stay, sit. So the monkey is sitting. And then the monkey goes away, far, far away. And then, no, push back the rope. So the monkey comes back again. It has to be continuous. The stay, the sit and stay must be continuous. So they put it back. And the third now is patch placement, which is the same as correcting placement. In other words, you are in a whole series of correcting your attention. It goes away, you pull it back. It goes away, you pull it back. That's the third one. Can you do that? Of course we can. Even a 6-year-old or 7-year-old can. But for an 80-year-old doing it for 20 years, 30 years, he still couldn't master it. Because it's difficult. It's extremely difficult. The Buddha mastered it. He's the master of his own mind. We are not. We are the slave of our own mind. That's our trouble. You'll wait till the day when you say, yes, this is what I'm going to do. Yes, I'm going to eliminate my alcoholic habits. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to go through this manic depressive style anymore in my thinking. I'm not going to be arrogant anymore. I'm not going to attach to sensuality of relationship between man and woman anymore. I'm not committing sexual misconduct anymore. I'm not lying anymore. I'm not killing anymore. Because you're the master of your mind, your own mind. So your correcting placement is to correct yourself. That's the third stage. And the fourth stage is close placement. What is close placement? You have this object of attention now, And the monkey goes away. It goes about a mile, and then I pull the monkey back. No, I'm not going to let the monkey to go away for 1 mile. How about just 5 feet from me? Not too far away. So when that wandering thought triggers and it goes away, it's not going for too long. You pull it back. It's so close to you. What's the problem with letting the monkey go too far? Somebody yelled at you when you're driving. You get mad and they yell back. You wanted to fight, you wanted to curse. Because your thought is being pulled away. And then immediately about 6-7 seconds, no, I shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't be cursing. I shouldn't be yelling. I should concentrate on my driving. Because your thought comes back. Some people, when they go astray, they will forever go astray. They won't come back again until they wind up imprisoned. And even that, they don't know what they're doing. Because they go further and further and further away. They don't know. You're being lazy. Okay, you're on computer games. You click on all these games. And your mom said, hey, Sonny, you spent 6 hours on it already. No, Mom, no, Mom, let me do it again. Do it. Because you're being led to do it. You're obsessed in it. That's what we call obsession. Because you don't go back. You don't come back. Your thought goes away and away and away. You're being led away by it. You can't control yourself. Now it says close pagement. That means don't let it do that. When Sonny clicked on the computer games, the mom said, oh, Sonny, you haven't done your homework. Oh, yeah, Mom. Sorry. You close your computer. You only play for 5 minutes. You're so close. You're not being led away for 5 hours. Some kids play computer games until they got a snitch neck and then have to go to a chiropractor to release it.